for our second to the last session before the closing. So after almost 2 days of fruitful discussion, so I would like to call on my colleague Simon Wilkinson to summarize what we discussed these past 2 days and some recommendations on the way forward. Simon.
So, distinguished delegates, colleagues and partners, on behalf of the HMM3 organising team, I would like to thank you for your participation in the meeting. We are grateful to our co-organisers, the Food and Agriculture Organisation of the United Nations, Future Fish and Shanghai Ocean University for their partnership in organising this important event. Over the past 2 days, we have reviewed the progress made since the launch of the White Paper on Aquaculture Transformation in the region and shared the national and regional experiences and strategies to achieve the White Paper's vision to 2030, which is that aquaculture in Asia and the Pacific region is transformed into more efficient, inclusive, resilient and sustainable aquatic food systems through innovation, investment and partnerships. Throughout the sessions, we have reflected on regional assessment of innovation and investment, discussed country-level progress and regional initiatives on developing national innovation and investment plans, and establishing the Aquaculture Transformation and Monitoring System, and highlighted innovations, investment opportunities and partnerships across public and private sectors in the region. Your contributions have provided valuable insights into the opportunities and challenges that we face in implementing the regional roadmap. We've heard diverse perspectives on how to mobilise investment, on innovation for transformation, and on how to build a supportive business ecosystem for innovation uptake to generate impacts at scale. Let me now summarise some of the key discussion points raised during the meeting. Okay. It was noted that low-cost fish are very important to food security because they are a staple food, and low-trophic species in particular, such as carps, tilapia and catfish, offer some of the best opportunities to scale production. But their low profit margin also makes it economically difficult to use some technologies, such as vaccines, that add costs. A large proportion of the farmers in the region are still struggling with the basics of aquaculture production, so if we want to encourage them to adopt more advanced technologies, they need to be packaged in intuitive, practical and easy-to-use forms. I'm going to add affordable there as well. Many farmers are also sceptical of unfamiliar technologies, so there is an issue of communication and building understanding and supporting them in adoption. Maybe now is a good time to rethink what kind of extension services we provide and how we provide them. Innovations are also subject to policy and regulatory barriers that delay commercialisation or discourage investment altogether. For example, regulation and safety assessments of things like vaccines, feed additives and chemicals are important. But if other countries have already done rigorous assessments, is it really necessary to duplicate them in every other country? Recognition and harmonisation between countries, or perhaps at the regional level, could reduce red tape without compromising safety. Genetic improvement and selective breeding offer huge potential for productivity gains, and we've seen a recent example of this in India with Jayanti Rohu, and I understand now Katla. But it remains a massive gap in aquaculture and probably the single largest opportunity for increasing productivity. We heard that intensification increases both productivity and the risk of disease, but aquaculture remains very difficult to ensure, especially for smaller producers. The aquaculture sector as a whole is seen as risky. There is a large shortfall of investment in the sector as a whole required to support innovation, bringing products to market and company development. And the investment funding that is available is perhaps not going where it is needed most. For example, Asia is 90% of global production, but is only a small percentage of the available investment dollar. Future aquaculture needs to be knowledge-based. We need to move beyond input-led farming to knowledge-based systems that allow us to do more with less, increase efficiency. for example, in the terms of the use of water, power, feed and land. Some of our private sector colleagues said it would be useful to increase access to experts from academic, government or private sectors, and that downstream actors can also help innovators to evaluate their ideas and technology. Aquaculture value chains can be highly fragmented, especially where smaller businesses are concerned, and understanding of the sector by financial entities is low. The sector is regarded as risky and unprofitable as investment opportunities. We heard that incentives must be aligned to ensure that farms and other businesses operate not only profitably, but also sustainably and responsibly. Farmers are struggling with debt, but may be able to break out of their cycle of debt if the farm can be made to produce optimally through better management practices and quality inputs. Providing sufficient finance for farmers to improve their farm and practices may have substantial positive benefits. We heard that the positive benefits of aquaculture should be more widely highlighted, as there are real contributions to employment, rural communities, food security and the positive environmental benefits that do not get the attention that they deserve. We need to promote the positive benefits of the sector, making use of storytelling to highlight the positive social benefits and others. Most farmers in the region are smallholders, and we need to find mechanisms and incentives that can bring investment to these people down to the farm level. Banks, insurers and investors are not equipped to service large numbers of small producers, but they might be willing to look at groups of small producers. So farmer groups and clusters are a practical opportunity to address this problem, and we have seen some examples, successful examples of this throughout the region, notably in India. We heard that providing cash to farmers is not the same thing as integrating people into the financial system. They need to be integrated to create a system that demonstrates repeat return on investment to justify the risk of providing a revolving credit line and allow farmers to access financial services as they need it, not just as a one-off. We also need to recognise that finance is part of the value chain, not just the last mile, but also who will pay for it, and how to create systems that allow recycling of capital. From FAO, we heard that we should not compete with each other, we should collaborate to leverage our collective strengths, and lastly, that we need to coordinate our efforts. So those are the main points. There will be a detailed report of the meeting later, which will have more. But looking ahead, there is a clear consensus that the regional cooperation and targeted national actions must accelerate. The roadmap provides a shared direction, but implementation must remain context-specific or localised, informed by timely data and backed by effective partnerships. Based on the discussions and your inputs, the following next steps have been identified. Progress implementation of the Aquaculture Transformation Roadmap. Continue supporting development of the NIPS in 4 participating countries as a pilot effort. Conduct assessment of the innovation space in support of the regional TCP that FAO is currently funding to understand the innovation and investment ecosystem and identify key players, bottlenecks, gaps and enabling policy support, especially in coordination to avoid duplication of effort. Develop and implement the ATMS, that's the Aquaculture Transformation Monitoring System. Continue development of the Aqua Hub with private and public partners. Actively expand collaboration with investors and build investment strategies and partnerships that meet the needs of aquaculture transformation, with special emphasis on farmers, SMEs and smallholders that remain essentially unbanked. Track progress to a possible future HLM4. And seek government support to raise awareness of the issues in the white paper to the wider industry and on the ground. In closing, I'd like to express appreciation for all participants for your commitment and candour, and we particularly thank our host, Shanghai Ocean University, and its staff and the student volunteers who spent a lot of time helping us. Thank you very much.